Hello, good evening, Marcelo, Andrea. We're going to begin with you. Let's start the class. Um, First, we always work on a review and everything, but I'm going to remind you some of the dates that are important for you to remember. Most of you have been working everything very well, right? I'm going to show you also the grade book and the scores that you have, and I think you're doing a great job. Some of you perhaps forgot to work all the things you needed to do. That's why you have like some scores, right? Some special scores over there. But this is like 5% or 10%. Most of you, let me change this, A9, we're completing everything. So you know your usernames. This is how you're doing so far. As you can see, it's very good. Most of the scores are like green, above 90, 80. It's very well. Only a few exceptions, but I think it's because you perhaps forgot some of the dates. Please, you need to remember, right, that each unit is 1 week. So you have 1 week to complete all of the units. That's very important. Just in case that you forgot about that, please, you need to remember that and you need to take that into account. Some of you didn't take the quiz yet. It's okay, but you have until today, right? You have until today at midnight, 11:59 p.m. to take this second quiz. All right? That's very important, please. You need to remember that. I want more of you to be online to assign the third unit, but today officially we start the third unit as well. All right? And let's go there actually. Let's go to the third unit. We have 2 more weeks. This one, the following, and we finish the fifth. And that's why I'm also going to show you this, right? Andrea, Marcelo, Mariana, remember that these are the weeks that you have to finish everything. Today is March 22nd, so today we're beginning with the third unit. And you will have until March 26th to finish everything, right? Next week, from the 29th to April 5th, is going to be like the last week to finish all the units. These are the, let's say, the weeks or the dates in which I give you the quiz, and this is the final test. Please remember these dates. They are very important for you, and you need to remember them. Now, to start this class, as always, I'm going to assign everything, right, except for this part, and except for this part. But now in pronunciation, now that I know with some of you I cannot work this, I'm assigning the part in which you're going to read those rules related to pronunciation. 26 assignments. All right, so again, you have 1 week to finish this third unit. It's very important that you can remember that. I prefer do this right here in front of you so that you can verify the assignments. All right, so after this, please try to go to Pearson and try to verify that you received these assignments. You have these days until the 26th to take this unit, and you have, as always, 2 attempts. And that's it. Okay, now with that done, everything is like ready. We can begin with this unit. Let me close this over here and let me begin with this presentation. This is related to something we did. So we're going to practice and we're going to remember a little bit about infinitives this time. All right, infinitives. So this question is going to be for you first, please, Andrea. Do you remember in which cases we use infinitives? Please let me know.
Good evening, teacher. I remember that we can use infinitives when we have two verbs, maybe, in
Okay,
one sentence.
okay, exactly. When you have one verb and the following verb has to be an infinitive, right? Is it with all verbs or is it with only certain verbs, Andrea?
In certain verbs, teacher. Like,
Exactly, right? Only with certain verbs, because other verbs are going to use gerunds, right? My last question for you there, Andrea. Do you remember at least two verbs that are followed by infinitives? What verbs? At least two verbs that can be followed by infinitives.
need and have, maybe.
Very good. Yes, it's correct, Andrea. Need, after need, you use infinitive, right? I need to buy a house. I need to buy a car, right? I need to buy a ticket. And have, we need obligation, right? I have to study for the test. I have to travel tomorrow. I have to be there, right? Very simple. Thank you very much, Andrea. Now I go with you, Marcelo. Do you remember other cases in which we also use infinitives?
Um, yes, I remember that we can use infinitive when other person is performing an action.
Okay, very well.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and a purpose, and to make a purpose.
There you go. Exactly. Very well. Two more situations, right? And actually, this topic is going to be about that, right? As you can see. Very well. When we want someone to perform an action and in purpose. Now, to expand a little bit there, Marcelo, do you remember the structure, or can you give me an example of a sentence in which you use infinitives to make someone do something?
Um, okay. My mother needs my father to to stay alive.
Okay, to stay, what is the word after stay?
Alive, alive.
Okay, okay, good, very good. Yes, that's infinitive, right? With someone else. Very good. My mother needs my father to stay alive. Good, right? Very good. And what about also this one for you, Marcelo, expanding that purpose? Do you remember the structure, or can you give me one example with infinitives of purpose?
Uh, sorry, teacher, I didn't remember.
All right, don't worry. That's why we're going to see this here, because this can be a complex, right, explanation. Thank you very much, Marcelo. And now I go with you, Mariana. Mariana, we have four ways in which we can use infinitives, all right? Andrea mentioned one way. Yeah, she said after certain verbs. Marcelo mentioned two other ways: to make someone do something and with purpose, right? Well, like in this lesson. One is missing. Do you remember that one extra usage of infinitives, Mariana?
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Hello.
I'm not sure, but I think that is after specific verbs or it's with another person.
Yes, yes. Actually, those are the ones they mentioned, right? So that's the what Andrea and Marcelo mentioned, and you're correct, Mariana. With other verbs and with another person, and also we have as purpose. But one more is missing. Do you remember, Mariana? How do we call to the infinitives that are at the beginning of the sentence? Do you
Mm,
remember that kind of infinitives?
no, teacher. Sorry, I can't remember.
Don't worry. All right, we're going to practice. We're reviewing here. Thank you very much, Mariana. I have some messages. Okay, perfect. Abel, let's go with you, please. I think you have the answer. Help us out, please. What is that one way of using infinitives that is missing here, Abel?
Good evening, teacher.
Hello.
Um, One way to use infinitive verbs is uh, like infinitive could be a subject. It's this subject is a beginning of a sentence. There is this is reading more common for formal expression.
Very well. Very well. There you go, Abel. Thank you very much. Infinitives as subjects, and they are more formal than gerunds, right? And Abel, I'm going to ask you to expand that a little bit with one example, please. Could you give me one example of a sentence that uses infinitive as subject, please?
Um, to read is my favorite activity.
Yes, there you go, Abel. Thank you very much. And as you mentioned very well, that is more formal than other structures. And that's before going here, that's why I opened this again. We're going to review that. Thank you very much. So remember, these are the four main ways of using infinitives, right? As the subject of a sentence, as Abel said, after specific verbs, as Andrea said, right? With another person that performs that action, as Marcelo said, and to talk about purpose, as also Marcelo said. So you have those four ways. Please, you have to remember that. The first way is very easy, right? It's like the subject. To visit the Grand Canyon is my lifelong dream. That's subject. After specific verbs, you need to memorize at least these verbs. I sent you this, right? Remember, you have this list. This is a complete list of infinitives, right? Of verbs that you use with infinitives and or gerunds. So please, you can check that. But if you want to practice only for this test, let's say, or only for this, let's say, module, it's okay if you memorize these verbs. After these verbs, you have to use infinitives, right? Agree to do, have to do, want to buy, prepare to take, need to read. So you have any of these verbs, present, past, or future, and infinitives. The third one is this one with another person. Marcelo gave us an example, right? She needs you to help her. They expected him to be on time. We persuaded, oh yes, we persuaded her to sing tonight. John obligated them to speak Chinese in class. So you have this, and this is very important. Why? Because it's related to infinitives. But now, today's lesson, all right, I'm talking about this because today's lesson is related to this, purpose. This is the fourth way of doing it, purpose, but it can be complex. You said that you don't remember, but purpose means that is the reason of your action. You're studying because you want to pass the course, right? In other words, you're studying to pass the course. So you're saying that in other words. She's doing exercise because she wants to feel better. In other words, she does exercise to feel better. Now, this is what we're going to work in today's class. All right, it's very important. Now, let me close this and let's go to the unit. Now, please, to the ones that just joined, Abel, Mariela, Melissa, Jasmine, I already assigned the third unit. Remember that we already finished 2 units, all right? The first unit is done. The second unit is done. You still have until today. Please don't forget to do it. You have until today at 11:59 to take the second quiz. All right? If you didn't take it yet, please, you have to do it today. I'm going to show you. All right? So as you can see, everybody's doing okay. Some of you are perhaps having some problems, but most of you are doing okay. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? 5 people didn't take the quiz yet. So please, you have to do it after this class, the second quiz. All right? The second quiz. And after this, you have until Wednesday, 26th, to take to complete the third unit. Okay, all the assignments of the third unit have been assigned. So take a look at that and you can complete that during or throughout this week. All right, with that mentioned, I think I can go with the unit itself. And let's go over there. It's over here. Infinitives of purpose. You know how to use this, but I'm going to be asking you some questions to practice again. And I'm going to try to begin with you. Abel, let's also begin with you. A very simple question, and this is related to reason. Questions with why. All right? Why? So, the first question, Abel. Why do you think that NASA sent a robot to Mars? Why do you think that NASA sent a robot to Mars, Abel?
I think NASA sends robots to Mars to find some indices to for demonstrate if there there was a life or something like organisms in Earth.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm using some words, Abel. If you check the chat, you can say to find some clues, to find some hints, right, about past life. Perhaps we can say that, right? But it's correct. Thank you very much, Abel. NASA is sending or sent robots, right, or rovers to Mars to find some clues or hints, right, of past life in that planet. So that is the reason. And what structure are we using? We are using infinitives of purpose, right? We are using infinitives of purpose over there. Thank you very much. The next one is going to go for you, please. Melissa, let's go with you. And the question is going to be the following, Melissa. It's a question with why, all right? Why do you think, all right, why do you think that some people don't want to be vaccinated? Do you understand that question, Melissa?
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
The last word I didn't understand. Sorry.
Okay, I'm writing in the chat the word. The word itself is vaccine. What is a vaccine?
Yeah, vacuna. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is vaccinated is to receive a vaccine,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Also, why do you think that some people don't want to be vaccinated, Melissa?
I think that some people don't want to be vaccinated because they don't know the secondary effects.
Very well. The secondary effects.
About this vaccine because it's too fast that all the companies made this vaccine, so they don't know exactly what are the second effects, and also it can vary in each person, so it's difficult to know if to one person can give some things or to another other things.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Melissa. I think you expressed very well your ideas. Very well done. I agree with you, right? Some people don't want to get vaccinated or don't want to be vaccinated because they don't know the secondary effects, right? Even though there are some studies, and of course, we are not receiving any vaccines, right? The vaccines that we have around the world are vaccines that at least have had some like studies in that country, in other countries, and we have international right entities that try to verify if that vaccine works or not. But as you are saying very well, Melissa, the vaccines are new. Even if they were tested, they are new. This is something new. So people, right, people are afraid of possible secondary effects and they don't know what consequences it could have, right? So that's why. Thank you very much, Melissa. And also, if you realize there, you can use infinitives of purpose, right? You can say, for example, they are not getting, or they don't want to get vaccinated. And you can say, for example, to avoid, right? To avoid the secondary effects, right? And we can
Yeah.
use infinitives of purpose over there.
Yeah,
There
teacher.
you go.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. No, you're welcome. Thank you for your answer. And one more, but this time I'm going to use some numbers. So please, Melissa, give me one number from 1 to 8, please.
4.
4. Thank you very much. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Jasmine told me that she's not going to be able to answer now. So let's go with you, please, Marcelo. This question is for you. The same logic. If it's possible, Marcelo, try to use infinitives of purpose. If not, it's okay. At least try to give me some reasons. The question is the following, all right? Why do you think, all right, why do you think that so many people want to go to the United States? Of course, we have some answers, but why do you think that happens, Marcelo?
Okay, people in Bolivia or people in the world?
It could be people around the world, right? Because it's like a trend or something that people in many places around the world want to do, right? It's like the American dream. So in general, Marcel, in general, or also you can talk about Bolivia, but the question is in general, why do people want to go to the United States?
Okay, I think that uh, all people think that work in United States is a goal, and it's common to say the American dream.
Mhm.
I because because United States is it's the biggest country in the world, I suppose, and the biggest city. Sorry,
Okay.
and I know that you can have opportunities and more if you try uh, to mm, to work uh, a lot of more than other people. You can have a good job there, and I know that is the reason. Too, also, I think that here in Bolivia, people think that Bolivia is not a good country to stay to
Mhm.
to live their lives, and they tell parents usually uh, tell their children that you need to study to travel to USA. It's an idea that they put
Okay.
on their children, and I suppose that this is the thing.
The reason. Okay. Thank you very much, Marcelo. I agree with you, right? There are many, many good reasons why people want to go to the United States. That's why also, of course, we know that English is not United States property, right? We know that this is like British, and we know that we speak English around the world. But we also know and we are aware that United States is a very big country in terms of economy, right? In terms of art, in terms of studies, right? So you can find things there that are really, really good. Some people don't like it, right? But many people like it. So we can use some infinitives of purpose there, as I think you did, Marcelo. Many people want to go to the United States because many people want to go to the United States to get, right, a good job, could be, right, to obtain a opportunity, to work, right, in a best or in a good job position or something like that, right? So all of those are purposes why people want to do something. And in this case, what is that action? Going to the United States. So with that mentioned, I think we can go and we can start this lesson, infinitives of purpose. And let's begin. Now it's going to be turn of the ones who couldn't participate. As for example, let me see, Mariela. Let's read this short review, please. This is something we already read, but let's read this, please, Mariela.
Hello, teacher. Okay. Review. Let's remember that we use infinitive in specific situations. There are four main ways of using it. Number one, has the subject of a sentence. Number two, after specific verbs. Number three, with another person that performs the action. Number four, to talk about purpose.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mariela. Remember only these two words. This is going to be person,
Person.
right?
Okay.
Person,
Okay.
and this is going to be purpose. Sorry, this is going to be like purpose. All right, purpose.
Purpose.
Uh-huh. And that u is more like purpose, purpose.
Okay. Okay.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Mariela. So we already checked this. You know, let's read about purpose this time, and you did it, Andrea. You're there. Yes, I think you're here. I can find it. Yes, there you are. Andrea, let's read this, please.
Okay, teacher. Purpose. Today's lesson will be focused on infinitives of purpose. It means that this structure will be used to talk about reasons, adjectives, or goals that we have when we perform certain actions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Remember, only this word was like a different reasons and objectives, right? Objectives. So reasons, objectives, and goals, those are the three ways of using purpose with infinitives. All right, we also know this. Let's go to the next part. And these are examples. So we're going to begin with you, please. Let me see, because some people left. I think Mariana is not here. Yes. Oh, no, Mariana, you're here. Mariana, let's read, please, these first three examples.
Okay, teacher. She's been studying English to apply to a scholarship. They go to the gym every weekend to be in shape. And Peter listens to podcasts in French to improve his listening skills.
Thank you very much. I think everything was correct. Thank you, Mariana. And let's read the next two examples, please. Abel.
Mary and Laura have traveled to the US to study a master's degree. We went over the last lesson to remember what we did.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, little by little, the next sentences are going to be simple. But I decided to write these. These are not very complex, but little by little, they are getting complexer, right? More complex. So if I ask you this, and this is for you, let's say, Marcelo. I think you're also here. Sometimes I hear people leave. Yes. In the first question, what can you answer if I ask you this, Marcelo? Why has she been studying English? How can you answer that question?
Mm, she's been studying English to apply to a scholarship.
Very well. And what do you think is the second way of answering that? There is a second way of answering that, Marcelo. Why has she been studying English? What is the second way of answering that?
She's been studying English to improve her English.
Okay, very well, to improve her English. But if we want to keep the same verb and the same complement, what other words do you use to connect with reason, Marcelo? There's a very common way of answering that. Tell me, Marcelo, you were about to say something?
No, teacher.
It's with because. How can you answer using only because?
Because she want to apply to scholarship.
Exactly. There you go. Right? Thank you very much, Marcelo. So I'm making you do this exercise so that you can think of the different structures. All right? She's been studying English to apply to a scholarship, or the same idea, she's been studying English because she wants to apply to scholarship, right? So any of these ideas, you can change it and you can use because. Let's go with you this time, Melissa. In the second one, Melissa, if I ask you, why do they go to the gym every weekend? What are the two possible answers, Melissa?
It could be they go to the gym because they want to be in shape.
Very good. Uh-huh. And the first one, and the first possibility, what is it?
Um,
You can read one of that sentence. Actually, you can read part of the sentence literally, Melissa. What part
okay.
of the sentence can you read to answer that?
They go to the gym because
Uh-huh.
they go to the gym every weekend because they want to be in shape.
Exactly. That's one option. And what is the other option, but not using because? Only using the information you have in the sentence, Melissa.
They go to the gym every weekend to be in shape.
To be in shape. Directly. You can directly answer to this question, Melissa, by saying to be in shape.
Oh,
All right, and that would be enough. Or if you want, you can read everything again. So you have three ways actually. One way is with because, right? They go to the gym because they want to be in shape. One way. The other way is reading everything. They go to the gym every weekend to be in shape. And the third way is the most and the shortest one, to be in shape.
oh,
All
okay.
right. So those are the three possibilities. Perfect.
Thank you,
Thank
teacher.
you very much. Let's work the same with you this time. Sorry, I have some messages I want to check. Okay. So I'm reading some of the messages. I'm going to try to answer after this, please. Let's go with you this time. Mariela, the third one. All right. This is the question, Mariela. Why does Peter listens, all right? Why does Peter listen to podcasts in French? How can you answer that question, Mariela? One more time. Why does Peter listen to podcasts in French?
Mm, the, because to improve his listening skill.
Okay, when you use it's good, Mariela. The logic you're following. Only Mariela, when you use because, you have to use the verb want. All right, and you're going to say because he wants to improve his listening skills. All
Okay.
right, because he wants to use his listening skills. Now, how can you answer, Mariela, again without using because? Actually, you can repeat one part of this sentence, Mariela, and it's going to be correct. What is the second way of answering that question, Mariela? Why does Peter listen to podcasts in French?
Because want he to improve his listening skill.
Okay, yes, exactly. That's the first one, right? Very good. Because Peter wants to improve his listening skills. And the second option, Mariela, you can only answer this and this. And you can say, why does Peter listen to podcasts in French? And you can answer, Mariela, to improve his listening skills. And that's it. All right. So that's the second way, Mariela. You have two ways of answering. The first one, because he wants to improve his listening skills, and the second one, to improve his listening skills. Do you understand that idea, Mariela? If you have any questions, let me know, please. All right. I don't know if you're still here. You're here, right? Okay. Do you have any questions about this, Mariela? Sorry, I couldn't see
Sorry, teacher.
you. Do you have any questions about these two possible answers, Mariela?
No, no entendí la segunda parte.
Okay. It's like you have two ways. Es como tener dos maneras de responder esta pregunta, Mariela. The first one, right? Why does Peter listen to podcasts in French? ¿Por qué Peter escucha podcast en francés? You can answer like this. Una opción puede responder because he wants to improve his listening skills. Porque él quiere mejorar sus habilidades de escucha. Una opción. But the second option, Mariela, la segunda opción, you can omit the first part. Omites totalmente la primera parte y solamente dices to improve his listening skills. Y esa respuesta es más que suficiente. All right? So two possible answers. All right?
Ahora sí,
Great.
teacher.
Perfect. Thank you. So let's go to the next part. And you know, it's the same with these examples. All right? Marcelo, you have your hand. Let me know.
Yes, teacher, I have a question here. Can the sentence change about Peter listens podcast, or it has to um, have to
Yes. Yes. Actually, I tend to teach this verb as listen to because listen is like they are like brothers, all right? They never go like separated. They always go together. Okay? Listen to, listen to. That's like a rule. It will be a mistake if I eliminate to. All right? If I say Peter listens podcast, it's a mistake. It's understandable. People can understand what you say, but it's bad English. All right? People is going to say are going to say like it sounds weird. All right? So don't eliminate to in this part. All right?
Okay, teacher.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions, you can let me know. If not, we're going to go to the next part. Remember, this is purpose of infinitive. Next part. This is the structure. This is what you need to learn to do. Any idea, okay? And with any idea, please, guys, Mariela, Marcelo, Mariana, Andrea, Melissa, Abel, all of you, it means any tense. It can be present, past, future. It can be simple. It can be continuous, right? Any idea means any sentence in any tense. All right? The infinitive, like this, and the complement. All right? This is the structure that you need. You're going to write examples in a second. But first, let's read these examples and let's go with you again, please. Mariana, let's read the first three examples again, please.
Okay. She doesn't eat fats to be on a diet. He studies hard to pass the test. They will buy a car to travel to La Paz.
Thank you very much. So you can ask yourself this. Why is she doing this? Or why does she do this? To do this, right? Why does he studies, right? To do this. Why will they buy a car? To do this. So this is, right? This is like you are asking yourselves why these people do these actions. This is like why, right? And this is like the answer to that. To do this, to achieve this. The next ones, again, I know that some of you have some problems with the internet connection, so don't worry about that. Let's go with you, Abel, again. The last two examples, please.
We stay home plus to watch plus the movie. I went shopping plus to get plus some food.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, you have present, she doesn't eat fats. Present, he studies. Future, they will buy. Past, we stayed. Past, I went. So it can be any tense. plus infinitive plus the complement for that infinitive. I know that you more or less get this idea because you already wrote examples with this structure. So let's work this, please. We are going to go to the document. To the ones that have Google Classroom, please go to Google Classroom and go to the first post that you have there. All right, in Google Classroom, you have classwork and you have infinitives of purpose, and it's over here. The ones that don't have this yet, I'm going to copy and paste the link just in case to the chat. All right, but it's important that you can have access to Google Classroom. Go there, look for your names, and we're going to write 3 examples this time. All right, no, actually only 2 examples. I want to have time for the rest. 2 examples in different tenses, please. It can be present and future, it can be past and future, it can be present and past, right? Let's work with that, please. The link is in the chat. Okay, so again, 2 examples with infinitives of purpose, all right? One can be in present or in past or in future, and the other one can be in other tense, all right? That's very important. Okay, you have to use the structure that is on my screen, please. So if you don't know what to do, look at my screen and you have to follow those examples. All right. If you have doubts or questions, you can let me know, please. But we're going to begin checking. I know that some of you already finished. So let's check this out. Abel, let's read the two examples that you have, please.
He has worked since 3 years ago to buy a computer. We are going to build a project to improve coverage in rural areas.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I'm going to bold your main idea. Your main idea here is going to be like this one, right? He has worked since 3 years ago. Very good. And this is the purpose, right? Plus the complement, right? To buy a computer. Great. Then here you have another idea. This is your idea. We are going to build, to build a project. And what is the purpose of doing that, right? What is the main thing that is motivating that idea is the following: to improve coverage, right, in rural areas. There you go. Thank you very much, Abel. Everything seems to be work very good. And now let's go with you, please, Gaston. I think you were having some problems, but can you speak, Gaston? Let's see if it's going to be possible. All right, don't worry. I know that some of you again are having some problems with internet, but I'm going to check this, Gaston. All right, I know that you cannot speak. So they were my friends since 5 years ago. Okay, very good. When we played tennis. Okay, here, Gaston, your sentence seems to be okay, but we need to write sentences with this structure. Okay, we're using infinitives. All right, so you need to give me an idea and why you do that. For example, ella no come grasas para estar en una dieta, right? That's one. He studies hard to pass the test. Él pasa o él estudia duro para pasar el examen, right? So we need to have an idea and then we need to have like, what's the reason? So I'll change, right? After will, Gaston, you have to say base form, only change. I will change, right, my university to go to a better one. It's better, all right? To go to a better one. Good. I will change, right, my university to go to a better one. There you go. That is correct. So try to check the first one, please, Gaston. The first example, try to change the first example and try to use a infinitive in the first one, Gaston, and I'm going to check it again. All right? So it's going to be like that so far. Marcelo, let's read the examples you have, please.
Okay. They'll take a little test to be more prepared in the future. I prefer to stay home to be more protected about the virus. She decided to listen English music to improve her hearing.
Okay, great. Let's check one by one. This is your idea, right? And this is the purpose. Correct? That's the purpose. They'll take a little test. And you can say sometimes instead of a little, like a short test. You can talk about that with test. All right? They'll take a short test to be more prepared, right, in the future. Very well. I prefer to stay home. That is your idea. And what's the reason behind it? To be more protected. Very well. Here we're going to change something very short, Marcelo. Instead of about the virus, you're going to see that you are more protected from the virus. All right? And she decided to listen, right? And here, remember what you told me here, Marcelo? You need to say, decided to listen to. All right? After listen, let's use to. To English music. And what's the reason behind it? To improve her hearing could be, but actually instead of hearing, because hearing cannot improve by that, it's better if you say here, Marcelo, her listening. All right. Her listening or her listening skills, one of those two works over there. Do you have any questions about this, Marcelo?
No, it's okay. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's go with you, Melissa, please.
Okay, teacher, sorry.
It's okay.
I will sell my cell phone to buy a better one, and she had done her homework to watch the movie.
Perfect. Let's check everything again one by one. I would rather do this. This is your idea, right? And this is the purpose of your idea. It seems to be great. Just one advice here, Melissa. Instead of say this here, buy me, it's better if you only say this to buy
Oh,
a better one. And if you want to say me, it's better if you say for me.
oh,
Okay, at the end of the sentence, it's like a better order for that. And the second one, this is your idea, very well. She has done her homework, and this is the purpose, and it's great. It works great, Melissa. Do you have any questions about the first correction?
no, teacher. That's okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you. Let's go with you, Andrea, please.
Okay, teacher. She will buy a computer to study English online, and they eat healthy to be in shape.
Thank you very much. Let's check this one, right? This is, you had these ideas, right? Even for the previous exercise, and it's great because it fits very well over here. She will buy future, right? To study. This is the purpose, right? Very well. And they eat healthy. They do this very often to do this, right? This is the purpose. It works great there, Andrea. Thank you very much. And Mariana, let's go with you, please.
Okay. We played soccer to practice match. They will wash the dishes to go to the cinema. I practice tennis to improve my technique to be a better player.
Okay, perfect. We're going to check this one by one. I'm doing this until this part. So we played soccer. You did, right? This, you practice this. To practice, you don't practice the match. Perhaps you practice for the match, right? To practice for the match. Great. It will be great over there. They will wash the dishes to go to the cinema. Good. That's the reason why they are washing the dishes. And I practice tennis to improve. Sorry. From these parts, right, is your, you have two reasons here, right, Mariana, and it works good. You practice tennis, and why? To improve your technique, to be a better player, right? Like two reasons in one. Very good. And the last one, Mariela, let's go with you.
She stayed in the hotel to be in the pool. You went home to watch the soccer.
Very good. And instead of only the soccer here, Mariela, you can say the soccer game or the soccer match. All right, like el partido de fútbol. But it's great. And watch,
Okay,
remember, with a T, right? The rest is great, Mariela. Very good.
thank you.
This is the main idea, and this is the purpose, right? And again here, this is the main idea, and the following is the purpose. There you go. If you have any questions, please let me know. What we're going to do now is very simple, all right? Because we're going to work with variations of this main idea. So let's go to the next part over here. This time you're going to help me out, please. Yeah, it can be any of you. This over here, I'm going to write it. Let's work with you, please. Abel, if you can help me out with this. Let's read the explanation and let's read the first three examples to see the difference.
Formal. If we want to be really formal, it's better to use in order to instead of to. She doesn't eat fats in order to be on a diet. He studies hard in order to pass the test. They'll buy a car in order to travel to La Paz.
Thank you very much. What you're seeing here is the same, all right? This example and this example is the same. She doesn't eat fats, right, to be on a diet, and she doesn't eat fats in order to be on a diet. It's the same. It's exactly the same. The translation is exactly the same. But in order to is more formal, all right? So if you want to write a letter, if you want to apply for a scholarship, if you're writing an assignment for your university, right, in the United States or something like that, it's better if you say in order to instead of only to. All right, it's exactly the same. The only difference is that this is more formal. That's the only difference. And then last two examples, let's go with you, please, if you can. Andrea.
We stayed home plus in order to watch plus the movie. I went shopping plus in order to get plus some food.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So it's the same, all right? It's exactly the same. Do you see these examples? They are exactly the same as these ones, all right? The only difference, again, what is the only difference here? Is here you say to be, and here you say in order to be. The meaning is the same, but in order to is more formal. So it's easy, but sometimes it's hard when you don't know which one is your purpose. So the exercise we're going to do right now, it's going to be only speaking. And you're going to read your examples with in order to. All right, that's why I was doing this job over here, because I want you to read the same examples, but instead of to buy, you have to say in order to buy, something like that, right? This time I'm going to begin with you, please. Mariana, read your examples and use in order to instead of to, please, Mariana.
Okay, teacher, I have a question. In order
Yes.
to instead of to is the same?
Yes, it's the same, but the only difference is that in order to is more formal, all right, and to is less formal. That's the only difference. And you can only replace that, Mariana, when you're talking about purpose, all right? Only when you're talking about purpose. Only when the translation of your sentence is like para hacer esto. If the translation is not that one, you cannot replace with in order to. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Okay, thank you. We played soccer in order to practice for the match.
Very good.
They will wash the dishes in order to go to the cinema. I practice tennis instead of to improve my technique to be a better player.
Exactly, in order to, right? In order to.
Okay.
Very well. Very well. So do you see this two is not purpose, right? This two is like part of go. So this is not a purpose. So the only thing that you can replace is these two, right? In order to go to the cinema. You did it and it was great. You did a great job, Mariana. Also here, in order to improve my technique to be a better player, right? So you only replace two when that two is purpose. All right, when that two is purpose, and the meaning is exactly the same. Thank you very much, Mariana. Let's go with you, please, Andrea.
Okay, teacher. She will buy a computer in order to study English online. They eat healthy in order to be in shape.
There you go, right? That's the only thing we do. Thank you very much, Andrea. Melissa, what about you?
Okay, I will sell my cell phone in order to buy a better one. and she had done her homework in order to watch the movie.
Perfect. There you go. Thank you very much. Marcelo, let's go with you, please.
Okay. They will take a short test in order to be more prepared in the future. I prefer to stay home in order to be more protected from the virus. And she decided to listen to English music in order to improve her listening skills.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Marcelo. Here, the only thing you're going to do then, Gaston, I think you're still there. I know that you cannot talk, but you can do this, Gaston. This is your main idea. And here, instead of to, you can also say in order to. It means the same, significa lo mismo, para, all right? That's like para, and that's a reason. So you can say, I'll change my university in order to go to a better one, or you can say, I change my university to go to a better one. It's the same. But if you say in order to, it's more formal. All right, that's the only thing. Mariela, let's do that job, please.
Okay. She stayed in the hotel in order to be in the pool. You went home in order to watch the soccer game.
There you go. Perfect, Mariela. Right, that's the only thing we do. Thank you. And Abel, let's finish up with you, please.
He has worked since 3 years ago in order to buy a computer. We're going to build a project in order to.
Sorry. There you go.
No, we're going to build a project in order to improve coverage in rural areas.
Thank you very much, Abel. That is correct. Okay, so very simple. Now my question goes here. Look, over here. And I'm going to use one of Marcelo's example because he's using this sentence in which he has more infinitives. All right. So I'm going to ask you this to see if you understand this very well. All right. Here in this sentence, guys, look, I have 1, 2, I have another 2, and this one, right? And even I can change this. Look, I'm going to use many 2's. All right. She decided to listen to English music to go to the right US. And I have one more 2. All right, so a sentence can have many 2's, right? So these 2, what is this 2? Who can tell me? Is this infinitive? I'm not asking if infinitive of purpose, only infinitive. Who can tell me if this is an infinitive? Who knows?
Yes, it is, but it doesn't work in like infinity. It is working about I don't know.
No, it's okay. What you're doing is great, and you're right, Marcelo. Yes, this is infinitive, okay, but this is not infinitive of purpose, right? You know that sometimes infinitives are only because of the verb. Remember, do you remember the list of verbs? Here. I'm going to show you very briefly. After some verbs, right? For example, these verbs, here remember, decide. After decide, you use infinitives, right? That's why Marcelo wrote, she decided to, right? Because this is a verb and this is its infinitive. All right, so to listen, it's an infinitive, but it's not an infinitive of purpose. All right, remember, this is the second type of infinitive after specific verbs, right? So it is an infinitive, but it's a different kind of infinitive. It's not purpose. All right, it's not purpose. That's the only thing. So I'm going to like highlight it with the same color. All right, decided to go? This one, to English. Who can tell me if this is or if it's not an infinitive? Anybody? I'm going to be... What do you say, Marcel? Oh,
Okay, teacher. It is not an infinitive. It can be an auxiliary. I suppose.
what? One more time, please, Marcelo.
It is. I think that it is an auxiliary. I think.
Okay, but it's not an infinitive, is that you say, right?
No.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Marcelo. I'm going to ask more of you. Melissa, what do you say to English? Is this infinitive or not? What do you say? It could be Melissa or perhaps Abel if you are there.
I think it is an infinitive because
Okay,
English.
tell me, Abel.
No, I think it is an infinitive because English is a noun or it's like object. Then to is auxiliary.
Okay, so you're saying that it's not, right? It isn't an infinitive. Is that correct?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very well. You have that idea. It was great. Thank you very much, Abel. And one more person, and it's going to be Mariana. What do you think? To English, is it infinitive or not?
I'm not sure, but for me, it's not an infinitive because for infinitives we can use a stop plus an infinitive or something like that. But I can say with to English.
Okay,
because
perfect.
the activity doesn't ending or starting.
Okay. Actually, you're getting to the answer very well there, Mariana. Thank you very much. All of you were right? This is not infinitive. And why? Because of this, right? You need a verb in the base form. You need to plus a verb in the base form. English is not a verb, right? So this is not infinitive. It's easy as that. If you don't have a verb, and you were mentioning something like this, Mariana, right? That's why I think you were very close in terms of explanation. If you don't have a verb, and also some of you mentioned, right? This is a noun, Abel, Marcelo. So that's why it's not an infinitive, as you said. So to English is not infinitive. To is only considered like a particle that is part of listen. All right? You always listen to an object, right? English. So this is not infinitive. This is infinitive because we saw that, right? So you can use here in order to. And this to the United States. This is the same as to English, right? This is not infinitive. I'm going to put this in green because this is infinitive. All right. And to the United States, of course, this is not an infinitive. This is again like preposition to talk about places, right? To go to the United States. So please be careful with that. I know that you understand this. That's why you were able to identify the infinitives and this one, but just be careful. Now we're going to go to the next part. I'm closing this. I'm going to save it. This one over here. Negative. Again, it's the same idea. I know this is repetitive, but it's for practicing and you can remember this formula. Let's read this time, and Andrea, let's read this, please.
Okay, teacher. It's possible to use the negative form of infinitives by adding not before to. First, she doesn't eat fats in order not to be with overweight. He studies hard in order not to uh, fail the test,
Go ahead, please.
and they'll buy a car in order not to take a bus.
Thank you very much, Andrea. This one is going to be fail, right? Fail is the opposite of pass or approve, right? Fail. So as you can see here, I changed the verbs or the expressions to use the negative. This is the negative form of infinitives, all right? Not to be, not to fail. Please don't forget about this. You don't say to not be, it's incorrect. Okay, in order not to be is the correct. You can say with in order to, or you can say without in order. But not has to be before to. That is very important, all right? That is the order of negative infinitives. Now, let's try to read this one. Melissa, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's read this for this. Yes, the sentences 4 and 5, please.
Okay, we stayed home in order not to miss the movie. We went to buy some food in order not to cook at home.
Thank you very much. So, as you can see, I'm changing the verb, I'm changing the complement sometimes to make this or to give it some sense, right? In order not to be with overweight, in order not to fail the test, in order not to take a bus, in order not to miss the movie, right? In order not to cook at home. Now, just to practice, we're going to try to do something very simple. And actually, before doing that, we're going to learn the last thing over here. That is the following. You have one more way to use the infinitive. All right, one more expression, and this is the extra expression that I'm going to give you, and you can use either this or the other one. And let's read this one this time, please. Mariela, let's read this part, please.
Okay. Extra expression. We can also use so, have, to, plus infinitive in order to is a bit more formal but the meaning is the same as to have to. I went on holiday to relax. I went on holiday in order to relax. I went on holiday to relax.
All right, thank you very much, Mariela. Just remember two little expressions here, Mariela. This is going to be so as to, right? So as to. And this is going to be like relax, all right? So here is going to be, I went on holiday so as to relax. All right? Perfect, thank you. And let's read the last part, please. Let's go with you. Abel, let's read this part, please.
We can use a negative infinitive of purpose by adding not before to. I drank coffee so as not to fall asleep. We got up very quietly so as not to wake up the children.
Thank you very much. So you have three ways of writing infinitives of purpose. And we're going to finish the class writing these examples, negative examples. But please, I know that perhaps this was something confusing for some of you. That's why I'm going to write some examples here. Look, I'm going to copy and paste this example over here. No, actually one of these, right? And it's going to be this one. Please, what you need to do is the following. You have three ways, or well, actually two main ways of using infinitives in negative. All right. The first one is this one. You can say, he studies hard not to fail the test. That feels weird, right? That's why in negative, please, this is very important. In negative, in most of the cases, you are going to add directly in order. Because if you don't add in order, it feels like weird. All right, so this is one way. And the other way is going to be exactly the same. But what is the other way of writing infinitives of purpose? As, so as, right? So as not to fail the test. The first one is very, very weird. So these are the two most common ones. And the third one that I was mentioning is the one that we're not going to use. That is with because. The exercise that we were doing, right? And you can say, he studies hard because he doesn't, all right, want to fail the test. And this is like longer. But please, to finish today's class, to finish this class, I want you to write two sentences in negative, please, and use these structures. All right? Use these structures. In order not to and the verb, so as not to and the verb. All right? Let's write this, please, and we're going to finish today's class. Examples are over here, or you can check them on my screen. Sorry. There. All right. And if it's not that clear for all of you, it's like saying para no. All right. Because the reason is negative. He studies hard, él estudia duro, in order not to fail, para no reprobar the test, el examen. All right. That's the idea. And it's the same. So it's not to is translated as the same. Es exactamente lo mismo. All right. So keep working, please. All right, some of you finished. Please, the ones who didn't finish, you can keep working. I'm going to check. Let's go with you, please. Abel, read your examples, and I'm going to check them, please.
She wakes up at 6 o'clock in order not to make breakfast. They will travel to Argentina so as not to assist the Congress.
Okay, now let's analyze. Thank you very much, Abel. She wakes up at 6 o'clock in order not to make breakfast. So you're saying that she wakes up at 6 o'clock because, right, she doesn't want to make breakfast. That's more or less the idea over there. All right, if it's like that, it works. There you go. That's the main idea. And this is the purpose, right? This is the purpose of doing this action. They will travel to Argentina, right? They will travel to Argentina. And again, the idea here will be then the following of it. They will travel to Argentina so as not to, right? So you're saying that they don't want to attend. Here, assist is like help, right? Is your idea here, Abel, to help to have the Congress, the Congress, or to attend the Congress? What is more or less your idea?
Attend.
Attend, right? Exactly, right? Attend a Congress, all right? But again, you are saying that they are doing this action. They will travel to Argentina so as not to attend to or to attend a Congress, right? Because they don't want to attend a Congress. That's more or less the idea, right, that you're giving me. Grammatically speaking, it's okay, but if that's the idea that you want to give, it's right, Abel. Do you have any questions about this? Please let me know.
No, teacher, all is clear. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Abel. Now I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go down, please. You can finish up, all right? The ones who are working, you can finish that up. Mariana, let's read your two examples, please.
Okay, teacher. I practiced. I know. No, sorry. My mom played hockey too well so as not to fail in games, and my coach practiced tennis with me so as not to get bored on the court.
Okay, okay, let's check this one by one. Thank you very much, Mariana. Let's check this one. You used only one expression, but you know that you can use in order to, or you can use so as, right? It works both ways. Good. This is the idea. Your mom plays hockey too well, and this is like the reason over there, right? So as not to fail in games. Good. The second idea is this one, right? That your coach practiced tennis with you so as not to get bored on the court. There you go. Thank you very much. It works great. Do you have any questions about this, Mariana?
No, teacher. Thank you. It's all clear.
Perfect. Thank you, Mariana. Let's go, please, Andrea. Let's go with you. I think we don't have her. We're going to go then with you, Marcelo.
Okay, teacher. I study a lot so as not to disappoint my mother. Yes, tries to make alliances in order not to lose the next war.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Marcelo. We're going to analyze. You study a lot, right? And this is the reason, right? So as not to disappoint your mother. That's really interesting. It works very well there. And US, with US, Marcelo, we're going to have the rule. It's better to always use the article the, all right? The US tries to make alliances, right, in order not to lose very well the next war. Okay, again, very interesting, very analytical. It works great over there, Marcelo. Great, the only correction was that one. Do you have any questions about this structure, Marcelo?
No, teacher, I don't have. Thanks.
Thank you. Andrea, what about you? I think you were about to turn on your mic.
Yes, teacher.
Okay,
Sorry.
let's read your examples, please.
Okay. He doesn't buy a new car in order not to have debts.
Mhm.
And I work hard so as not to pay the bank.
Okay, let's analyze this one. Thank you very much, Andrea. Let's read. The first one is very interesting. It works perfectly there. He doesn't buy a new car in order not to have debts, right? And that's great, right? That's a very good example. I work hard so as not to pay the bank. Well, it's like you work hard because you don't want to pay the bank, right? That's the idea. But I would advise here, Andrea, that you can change instead of pay, you can say something like owe, right? That is like debt, but as a verb, okay? Like deber. So as not to owe to the bank, all right? The bank or to the bank. It works over there, all right? Instead of pay. I think it will be better in that way. I don't know if you agree with me, Andrea, or if you have any questions about this.
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're about to finish. Let's go, please. Mariela, let's go with you. Mariela, your microphone is off.
Okay. She travels a lot in order not to bore in house. My sister practice practice dancing every day to have new to play in the show of talents.
Thank you very much. Let's analyze. We're finishing with this, Mariela. The first one seems to be great. She travels a lot. Why? ¿Por qué? In order not to be, you have to say always be bored. All right? Because if you don't say that, it's like saying, Mariela, para no aburrir, if you say like that, to bore. Es para decir, para no aburrir. But if you want to say para no aburrirse, you have to say not to be bored. All right, not to be bored. And here my sister practices dancing every day. So remember, this is not has, no es has, sino solamente es as. So as, all right? So as not to fail in the show of talents. And that's great. It works very well over there, Mariela. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions, Mariela?
No, no, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And Gaston, I read your question over there. I know that we're over time. This couple talk quite a lot as so as. We're going to see this. Please, Gaston, try to think of some examples. And tomorrow we're going to check this in more detail. All right. But you need to have an idea and you need to have why. All right. You need to have the reason of that idea. We finished with this. I took a little more time, but I wanted to check everybody's example. But with that, we finished all the unit. As always, you have some links to practice if you want. So we finished here, guys. We were able to finish everything. Please fill out the survey as always. As soon as you fill it out, the class is over. Thank you very much for being here. Have a good night and see you tomorrow in the conversation, guys. All right?
Bye,
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 teacher.
teacher. Thank you. See you.
Bye bye.
Teacher, bye.
Teacher.
Take care. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.